Welcome back to OneStopTutorials.com. It's me, Alibaba, back again. Let's get straight into this. No time for commentary. And what we want to do, in the last tutorial, we added to our style sheet, we added a header left and we added a header right. Reason we did that was because we wanted to have the logo in a header left section, and then the rest in the header right section. I want to put the search, okay? And I like to just split them up into sections, sort of way that you do it in CSS. So, and we also added our HTML, header left, header right. So let's format some of this, okay? At the moment you have two divs, okay, and they're going to be header left at the top, header right is going to be underneath it. What I want to do is move the header left to the left, and I want to move the header right to the right, okay? So the header left, the way to do that first is float. So I'm going to float the whole div to the left. Okay, I'm then going to specify a width of that div, and the width of that div is, I'm going to make something like 380 pixels. I know the height because the height of the header is 117 pixels, so height is going to be 117 pixels. Okay, and that should be okay for the time being. I can always come back. Next, on the header right, as I floated the header left, I want to now float this baby to be right, and what that will mean is it will squeeze in next to it. Okay, what am I doing? Close that. Nope. Close that. And again, I'm going to specify a width and the height. Now, people always ask me, how do I know what the width's going to be? Well, we know the width of the header is 1000 pixels. We know that we floated the left header 380 pixels. So all you do is take away 1000 pixels, take away 380 pixels, will tell me what the width of this will be, and the width will be, if my maths is correct, 620 pixels. Again, the height is going to be exactly the same as we had it before. Let's have a look, see how we're getting on. Go to design view, and there's your two divs. One, there's your main div header, there's your left, and there's your right. No, there's your right. Okay, so all's looking good. Next thing I want to do is on the header left is I want to bring in the logo. Now I could add it to a background image, but I like actually not, because I'm going to make this a link that when they click on it, they're going to go to that actual be able to return to the home page every time. So inside of header left, let's make a bit of space. So it's probably too much space, but okay, what I want to do is I want to type in back arrow MIG space SRC. You'll notice it comes up. This is actually linking to this image. Browse, and what I'm looking for is the logo. Okay, images and logo, and I'm going to hit OK. Now anytime you put an image in normally on a website, okay, this is really important, anytime you do this you always want an alt tag. Alt tag is it's a great way of naming your images. It's really important. Google Images, you get picked up in Google Images for it, and also it's really clean web design. So at the end of PNG quotation mark, I'm going to hit space and I'm going to type in alt and hit enter, and I'm going to name this homepage one stop tutor no wrong website, coffee cake recipe. Okay, and then I'm going to close that by hitting the forward arrow, and there you go, you've just made an image. Okay, and if we come to that div, you should notice it, here it is here. Okay, so what I want to do is I want to, as this is an image now, I want to actually move this image down. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come to the style sheet, and remembering that this image is inside of a div called header left. So what I can do is I can copy this, Control Command C, and I'm going to paste that in just to save time. And as the image is inside of a div called header left, the way to call upon the actual image is, if it's an HTML tag, is img. Okay, img means image. So the image inside of the div called header left, what do we want to do? Well, I want to apply a margin top, and I'm going to apply, what shall I apply? Let's just try 50, let's try 50 pixels. Okay, I might as well, while I'm here, specify the width and the height, even though it is not major, but I like to keep it tidy. The width of the image is, I know this already, 301 pixels. The actual height of the image was, I believe it was 57 pixels. Okay, and there we go. Like I say, we can come back in and edit this later. If we come to the design view, and there you'll go, you'll notice our image has moved down. We can always, if we wanted to, we could add a margin come on Ali, sort it out. Margin, just type it in, margin left, and I could just make something like 10 pixels if I wanted to. and that will just bring it across. Okay, like I say, we can come back up and format this a bit later. Next thing I want to do is add the form. Now the form I'm going to use, I'm going to paste the code in, and you can get it from our website, but it's just basically a simple bit of Google AdSense form code. I'm just going to put it inside of the header right, remembering here's the header right here. I'm just going to paste that in for the time being, and as you can see, it's just a Google AdSense with a pub number because I want to generate money from this website, so I'm just going to use a Google AdSense search. Okay, if we come to design view, you'll notice here it is here. Okay, so let's get formatting this actual whole form. First thing we need to make sure is that we actually have an ID for the whole form. So the form action at the moment is going to One Stop Tutorials. We'll change that later, and the ID is form. So what I can do is with that ID called form, I can call upon that inside of the CSS. So let's scroll down, and I'm going to type in here, as it's an ID, we always start with a hash sign, form. Okay, open and close brackets. And what do I want to do? Well, basically I want to move this form to the right, so I'm going to float it to the right. Float it to the right. Okay, that will move it to the right. And you know what? I probably need some margin top because it's too far right to the top. And I might apply the same as we applied to the actual image. I'm going to apply 50 pixels. You can always come in and change this later. Like I say, probably don't actually need that much. Let's have a look. Okay, so as you can see, the form's floated to the right and it's come down 50 pixels. Looking good. Next thing I want to do is I want to actually, you'll see here for the button, we actually have a class. It's called submit. Okay, so that's what I want to do is I want to style that class called submit. Now anytime you do a class, it always starts with a period and then the name of the class. In our case, it's called submit. Okay, and what do I want to do with this? Well, first thing I'm going to do is bring in the background image. Okay, I'm going to bring in that image called search but, and then I'm going to offer a no repeat. I don't want this image repeating. Next thing I'm going to do is specify the width and the height of the image, and that is, if I come to the images, but image is, if I hover over it, 58 by 23. So the width of the button is 58 pixels. The height of the button is 23 pixels. Okay, and I'm going to make sure there's no border. I don't want any border around this because sometimes in forms it does that. And I'm actually going to stylize the font text. So I'm going to have a, what should I do here? A font family. I'm going to make it Arial. I'm going to make a font weight to be bold, which means I'm going to make it a bold font. I'm also going to make the color of it, and the color is going to be, I know what it is, white. Okay, that should be pretty much it. There we go. Let's have a look, and there you go. Now, as you'll notice, what I didn't do was I didn't take off the actual submit on the actual button. When we exported the button, I left search. I should have taken that off. We'll do that in a bit, but for the moment this is formatted. So that's it for this tutorial. I've got to start moving along a bit faster now because this is going to take forever, but bear with me. Like I say, if you really want to know how to code a Photoshop template properly, do the actual course on it. It'll be a lot easier. So I'm going to move through this a little bit faster and have you guys and girls up and running. Take it easy everyone. Catch you at the next One Stop Tutorial.